Hello there folks, Skulkin140 back for another toy review, and today we're going to be taking a look at something that's a little bit different from what I've reviewed. We're going to be taking a look at a Revoltech figure this time, a Revoltech figure from the Macross franchise. Today we're going to be taking a look at, and I'm going to try and say this without getting anything wrong, the Macross Revoltech VF-1A Super Valkyrie from Macross Do You Remember Love, released by Kyoto. This is my first look at the Revoltech line in greater detail. I have two other Revoltechs that I want to review, the YF-19 and the YF-21, both Macross figures. But for the moment, let's take a look at this toy first of all. First of all, we're not going to look at the toy. We're actually going to do something that I very rarely do whenever it comes to reviewing a toy. We're going to look at the packaging, the box that this figure comes in. And as you can already see, the insides of the box are gone. I threw those away in the plastic recycling. But of course, on the box you'll see the writing saying Revolver Joint, Revoltech, Yamaguchi, Super Valkyrie VF-1A. On the side, Yamaguchi, Series 38, Super Valkyrie movie version. And on the top, you'll see series number 038, and of course, the Kyoto logo right there. And right there, let me just zoom in, you'll see the logo 25 Macross. That's there because at the time this figure came out, this was at the time when Macross was celebrating their 25th anniversary, and at the time when the anime Macross Frontier came out. So that's there for a reason. And of course, on the side, you'll see the figure in orange silhouette, and of course the Revoltech joint right there, and more writing right there. And on here, a diagram of how the Revoltech concept works, so you can take a good look at it. And the more writing in Japanese, so that's pretty good. And of course, on the back, you will see the figure itself, in the poses that it can be put in, the accessories it comes with, and more writing right there. Unfortunately, I don't know a word of Japanese, so if anybody wants to translate this for me, please go right ahead. But there you go, that's pretty much the box of the figure itself. Now, onto the toy. The one thing that I really like about the Revoltech line is that most of the toys from that line are all anime and manga and video game and movie characters as well. And it's interesting to see how well they're made, and it's interesting to see how much detail and how much colour is put in a lot of those figures, and just how accurate they are to how they look in most of the movies or comics or whatever. It's really interesting to see how it's done. When it comes to the Macross franchise, most of the Valkyries that have been released, all of them have been very good. I can't think of a single one that haven't been good. But it's just nice to see how they're made as well, and especially when it comes to the detail. There's a lot of detail added in this figure as well, and the thing is that this figure stands at about 5 to 6 inches tall. So it's so interesting to see how so much detail is added to this one small figure. You can see a lot of detail on the chest, on the arms, on the head, I'm not sure if you can see it or not, on the legs, and of course on the wings, and on the back as well. So that is quite well done. It's nice to see someone put a lot of hard work into this figure and how it was made. Now, when it comes to this figure, and in the terms of articulation and movement, the one thing that I'm sure a lot of people know about Revoltech is that all of their toys are so articulated in many ways, and come with so many different joints. It doesn't matter what part of the body it is, they all come with so many different joints. This figure, of course, comes with about 37 points of articulation in the arms, in the head, and in the legs. Of course, you'll see the arms move up and down like that, the shoulder mechanism. The arms will rotate the full 360 like that, and the elbows will move as well. And if you can hear that noise right there, that is the sound of a lot of Revoltech figures making that ratcheted joining movement, which is quite nice to hear. In the waist, in the body, you'll have some movement as well. The legs, of course, can move as high as they can, and of course, the ankle joint right there to make the feet move. And the wings, they can move as well, which is quite nice. But the thing about this figure as well is that this figure is non-transformable, which is a shame, because I know that a lot of Macross toys in the Revoltech line are non-transformable. You can get a few that are transformable, but most of them are just in their robot form. So if you want a transformable toy, this is not it. This is one that is highly posable, and you can just have countless hours putting into a lot of different poses. But at the same time, though, this figure is just fun to play with. It really is. Now, like I said before, this figure does come with some great detail all over the toy. You'll see the UN Spacey writing right there. the number 011 right there, and of course the UN Spacey logo right there, which is quite nice. And to finish this off, this figure does come with a lot of accessories, which makes this figure quite outstanding. It comes with a lot of accessories, like I said before. It comes, of course, with a gun pod, propellant tanks, booster packs, 4 wing missile pods, 2 arm missile pods, 5 optional hands, and a display base with a joint arm assist with dynamic action poses. That's what makes it really interesting. In all the Macross, in all the Revoltech figures, almost all those figures come with so many different accessories. You can have countless hours playing with them. So let's try and arm this figure up with some of these pieces to make this figure feel. So here we have the VF-1A armed with the accessories that it comes with, and right away this is one of the main reasons why you'd want to own a Revoltech figure, in that when you look at the toys and how they're made, and when you see them with the accessories that they come with, and when you see them armed with the accessories that they come with, they really do help make the figure stand out a great deal. But at the same time, though, I do have a couple of problems with the accessories, in that all the while they do look nice, but at the same time they're hard to get in once you get the figure out of the packaging, because you have to make the holes wider to make the pieces fit in. And some of the accessories can be very brittle and very small, that oftentimes they can break apart. Like, for example, these pieces right here, trying to get them out isn't really all that hard, but trying to get them back in is a little bit easier than that. But at the same time, when you look at the pieces, this one right here has a very tiny little bit of plastic hanging off of it, and you can just peg it onto the wings. Be very careful with that, because at the same time, something that small can break very, very easily, and at the same time, that's not a very good thing to deal with. But looking at this figure with these accessories armed, it just looks really cool, and plus, this is how the Valkyrie looked in Macross Do You Remember Love as well. It's a great movie as well. Not a bad looking figure. When it's armed to the teeth, this is when you can see that this figure wants to do a lot of damage. But having this figure in this boring pose doesn't really help that much. So what we're going to do is we're going to arm this figure with the 2 fists that make this figure a bit more presentable, I think. So what we're going to do is just take this thing off and arm this figure with this fist right here, which can hold the gun. And this fist right here we're going to just remove and arm that with this grabbing hand. And of course, got to have the stand ready. Make sure that you can peg the stand into the hole in his bum, and just put that in with no problem at all. And of course, to just arm this figure, just to make him look more badass and presentable. This is what makes the Revoltech figures work, I think. When you have these stands, and plus bearing in mind the stands can either come clear or they can just come like these bits of black plastic. This is when you show what great work in toy design is worth it, because here we go. Here, of course, is the Revoltech, the VF-1A, in one of the many poses that you can have him in. It's a really cool figure to look at, and of course we're going to look at the many poses that this figure comes in at the end of the video. But right away, this right here is one of the many poses that you can put him in, and it looks so badass. And plus, having him in this sort of heroic pose, like I'm standing for all glory and whatnot, it works very well. And plus, having him in this pose with all the accessories just looks really cool, I think. And of course, on the gun, you can see upside down UN Spacey right there. So there you go. That's pretty much the Revoltech of the Macross VF-1A Hikaru Ichiyo's Valkyrie. If you're a fan of Revoltech, if you're a fan of Macross, or hell, even Robotech, I'd recommend this figure highly. You can't go wrong with Revoltech, and plus, with this much detail, this much design, and great articulation, these figures are worth buying depending on the price that they are. Some of them can be very expensive, some of them can be cheap. Go for the expensive ones if you have the spare cash, because the more expensive they are, the more good they are. But anyway, this of course is the Macross Revoltech VF-1A Super Valkyrie from Macross Do You Remember Love, and I'm Skullgrim140. Thanks for watching, everybody.